Hey everybody, it's me, Steve Schnee, the CD Junkie. On this episode of CD Junkie, I'm just going to be celebrating the fact that I've passed 400 subscribers, and I'm going to be just showing you some CDs I've been listening to lately. These aren't necessarily recent purchases, it's just stuff that I've been listening to while I work. And while I'm showing them to you, I also want to extend my thanks to everybody that watches the videos, everybody that subscribes. I have to admit that many years ago when I started this YouTube channel, I thought that I would be way beyond 400 subscribers by now. I think the last time I checked, I was at 405. I was thinking after all these years, I would have at least been at 415, 420, but I'm not going to complain. I have people who stop by, who leave comments, and I appreciate every comment. I appreciate every like. I know that I'm not appealing to many people, but I also know that if I just had a camera pointed down and I was just showing you CDs, it may not be as fun to get into. But now remember, I'm not going to show you things I don't like. I'm just going to show you the things I've been listening to that I enjoy. So everybody knows about Big Stir Records. Here's some of their latest releases. Like here's a best of Splang, and here is the new Anton Barbeau. Here is Spy Genius. This is getting rave reviews everywhere. Everybody needs to check that out right away. Of course, everybody loves Corner Laughers. I love Corner Laughers. That's the new album. And here's the new Dolph Chaney as well. And also, anybody who's into Trip Shakespeare and Semisonic even. Here is Matt Wilson, the new Matt Wilson. He's not in Semisonic, but his brother Dan is. But he was in Trip Shakespeare with Dan. And that's the new album there, and that's fantastic. If you love Trip Shakespeare, you're definitely going to love that. Here is the new one from the Click Beatles, Power Pop. And you can get that through Future Man, and that's available now. Here's an Australian band, it's a new EP by the On and Ons. And that's great power pop. And before I continue, again, I'd like to thank everybody. I especially would like to thank people like Ronnie Barnett, who has brought in a lot of viewers with our show called Ronnie Barnett's Boom Boom Room. And of course, my brother Mike, when we do the That's What Schnee Said. And he's got friends and brought in some viewers. And of course, my buddy Matthew Street, one of the first guys I really saw on YouTube, and I thought, I want to do what that guy's doing. I saw him, I saw Mean Mr. Mayo, and a few other guys. But Matthew's a guy I connected with because we shared a lot of musical interests, and we've become great friends over the years. And we actually have a show called Quarantunes. We did a first season of it. And it looks like we're going to do a second season soon enough. I was going to change the title, but because of the pandemic, as you can see, because of the pandemic, I can't get a haircut. But because of the pandemic, I think that we're going to continue calling it Quarantunes. Anyway, let's get back to the CDs here. Here's Judy Suk, and this is a 3 CD set. It's her Chrysalis recordings, and it has 2 studio albums and then a live album as well. That's a 3 CD set. Here's another Big Stir Records, Librarians with Hickeys. That's a new one there. Now, to sort of get away from the stuff that people think that I spend all my time listening to, there's also things like the Love Train box set, which is the Philly Soul. Oh, that there. And that's got, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes and the Stylistics and stuff. It's a fantastic set. It's, of course, Billy Paul, Me and Mrs. Jones, things like that. I'm also into a lot of Australian bands. Here's 2 CDs I had handy by James Rain. James used to be the lead singer of a band called Australian Crawl. Most of the compilations by James Rain are Australian Crawl and James Rain. This is a great collection because it's 2 CDs and it's all his sort of solo. Now there's Company of Strangers, which is a band he did one album with, but there's no Australian Crawl on that. And I love Australian Crawl, but I really like to focus on that. Now, James has a very unique voice, very unique approach. He has a brand new album coming out. I'm very excited about it. This is one of his last studio albums. It's called TCB, and it's all Elvis covers. So if you look at that. And he sticks to the arrangements pretty well, but he also adds a lot of, because he doesn't sound like Elvis, but he just, because he takes the songs and he gives them maybe a new coat of paint. But it's really cool. might want to check out some of that stuff. Again, that's James Rain from the band Australian Crawl. I was really a fan of the Anita Baker album called Rapture, and I never bought it, but then somebody gave me this, and this has her first 5 Elektra albums. And so the Rapture, that's really the only one that I've listened to a lot, but that's got a lot of great songs on it if you love maybe some of that smooth soul, smooth jazz from the 80s. That's really cool. Here's another box set, Love and Spoonful, and it's got those albums on it. Great thing about it is they're the versions with the bonus tracks. So you get all that stuff in one Love and Spoonful box. And what else have I been listening to? There's a great duo called the Mona Lisa Twins, and they have a few albums out. They do a lot of Beatles covers. They're very true to the original arrangements, but of course having 2 girls doing the John and Paul harmonies adds a new dimension to it. And this is a collection here, and it has Beatles stuff and 60s stuff. And there's those. They've got a couple volumes. I think this is the 3rd volume, so I have to eventually get volumes 1 and 2. And then there's these 2 albums here are their originals. And I really like listening to their originals more because cover versions don't always excite me, although I do like their unique approach to them, but I like listening to their originals too. They're very 60s pop influence, so you might want to check those out. And again, before I continue, I do really appreciate anybody that tunes into my channel for whatever, whether it's Ronnie Barnett's Boom Boom Room, whether it's CD Junkie, and I love the fact that you like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever. I appreciate you more than you really realize, because sometimes when you're doing these things, you're sitting, you're staring at a computer, or you're staring at a camera, you just got a microphone in front of you, and you don't know if anybody's going to care. And all of you people that have commented, you've shown that you care. And I share these on Facebook too, so sometimes I get comments on Facebook that you don't see on YouTube. So I appreciate people on both sides. Next things I'm going to show, there's a labels called Invictus and Hot Wax, and they were started by songwriters Holland Dozier Holland after they left Motown. So Invictus and Hot Wax were sort of an extension of that late period Motown. Really great pop and also early funk and stuff like that. But I've got things like the Frida Payne, gorgeous Frida Payne there, and this of course has all her Invictus albums on 2 CDs. You'll know her by Band of Gold. Here's Holland Dozier featuring Lamont Dozier on lead vocals. This basically has everything that they released either under the Holland Dozier or Holland Holland or Dozier Holland, everything on 2 CDs. The Eighth Day, great groovy soul. That's 2 albums on 1 CD with bonus material. This is one everybody should get it if you want to get into Invictus and Hot Wax and discover these great labels from the late 60s, early 70s. Here is Invictus Greatest Hits and Hot Wax Greatest Hits, and they've taken the albums and added bonus tracks, so there's a lot of stuff there. Now here's one of my favorite Invictus acts. Chairman of the Board, Give Me Just a Little More Time is just one of the greatest soul songs of the late 60s, early 70s. And this has all 4 Chairman of the Board albums, plus it has solo albums by 3 of the members and bonus tracks. Each of these is a 2 CD set. And but if you think about it, think about Band of Gold by Frida Payne. Think about Give Me Just a Little More Time by Chairman of the Board. Doesn't that remind you of what Motown was doing just a few years before? It sure does me. This isn't Invictus, but General Johnson was the lead singer of Chairman of the Board, and these are like mid to late 70s Arista recordings. Great soul, funky pop. And Honeycomb, this is 2 CDs with 4 albums. Most of the stuff was written by the guys from Chairman of the Board, General Johnson. And then here's 100 Proof Aged in Soul, and there's 2 albums there. Bonus material. Bonus material is usually single mixes, instrumental B-sides, things like that. Johnny Hates Jazz. They have a new album coming out. This is their first album, the one with Shattered Dreams. This is a 3 CD version. Loads of bonus tracks. It's got like B-sides, extended mixes. It's got new acoustic versions of all the album's tracks. And here's one that people are probably going to go, oh my goodness, Schnee, you're weird. Country Yodel compilations. These are just filled with classic country yodeling from the 30s and 40s, maybe into the 50s. Love that stuff. Weird, I know. Eddie Holman, album called I Love You. This is the guy that does Hey There Lonely Girl. This is an excellent, excellent soul album. It has Hey There Lonely Girl, and surprisingly enough, the album is not filled with cheap knockoffs of Hey There Lonely Girl. Now, he does sing falsetto all through that song. Of course, you probably know it. But the rest of the songs, he doesn't sing falsetto through them. He might maybe kick into falsetto during the chorus or during the fade out or something. But generally speaking, this is just a great collection of songs. He's got a great voice, falsetto or not. Eddie Holman, I Love You is the name of that album. I was a big fan of these records in the 80s. Tom Tom Club. This is the deluxe edition. Not only does it contain their first release plus bonus tracks and EP tracks, it also has their second album plus bonus tracks. And I remember really liking the second album, but really loving the first release that had Wordy Rapping Hood and Genius of Love on it. But this actually, the second album, which is right there, actually has a lot of great tracks on it too. So I appreciate that far more than I did then. Here's some gray area CDs. They may not be official, but Trevor Harrion, this came out in the 80s. Trevor was a British vocalist. Unfortunately, he committed suicide in 1988. But this album, a lot of great songs on it. He actually was in a band called the Fallout Club, which featured Thomas Dolby, and this is before Thomas Dolby's solo career. So he went off and he went solo, and it's kind of hard to describe. There's a little bit of Japan in there, there's a little bit of Roxy music, but it's very unique, and it's really fun to listen to. There's a group called Sense. They're a UK trio. Oddly enough, this is produced by Dave Ball from Soft Cell, but it sounds kind of like Erasure almost. So maybe Dave forgot that he was in Soft Cell, and he produced them to sound like the other synth pop duo that was popular in the UK at the time. But this is a great collection, and it has some bonus tracks on there. Philip Japp, this is really cool, really quirky. I'd say he's up there with like Troy Tate and some of the other people, where he puts out this great album and it's quirky, and he's coming from a unique musical place, but he just didn't sell that well. But he's still remembered, and there's the tracks there. Then here's a band called Mummy Calls, and this is I think 86, 87 or something, and it has a great song called Kiss Me. And a lot of these songs sound like they should have been all over the radio, but unfortunately, yet another 80s band that sort of drifted into nowhere. And then finally, I've got a box set here I'm going to show you. Screaming Blue Messiahs. You may know them just for one song, that I Want to Be a Flintstone. But this here, it actually has remastered and expanded versions of all their albums, plus some live stuff, and it has a bonus 7-inch in there as well. So yes, you're going to get I Want to Be a Flintstone, Yabba Dabba Doo time. You're going to get that on this box set, and you're going to get a whole lot more. How would I compare them? Maybe like a more melodic Godfathers. If you're not familiar with the Godfathers, then maybe that doesn't matter. But this is a really great set, Screaming Blue Messiahs, and it has all their recorded output in one box, plus a bonus 7-inch single. Anyway, that's it. I just wanted to show you some of the stuff I've been listening to. I've been listening to a lot more things, but I've got those set aside for future episodes of CD Junkie. And I've got other videos coming, more episodes of Boom Boom Room, more episodes of That's What Schnee Said, and some other things coming up. I don't take your kindness for granted. I appreciate you. I appreciate you watching what I do here. But I want you to remember, these are very, very tough times. We are all struggling somehow, whether it be financially or emotionally. Just know that if you need somebody to talk to, if you want to reach out to somebody, if you just maybe want a few musical recommendations to lift your spirits, if you just want to talk about stuff, if you just want to communicate with somebody, even if it's just email, reach out to me. We all need to hold each other up and keep each other strong, and then we'll all come through this much better people on the other side. Again, this is my video acknowledging over 400 subscribers. I thank you all very much. And until the next time, remember me, I'm Steve Schnee, the CD Junkie.